is that under consideration at all? Thanks.
It's certainly under consideration, but it's just not. We haven't decided whether we're going to take a route that goes right to that very specific rock or not. And like I mentioned to Emily, it's likely that we'll see some conglomerates. Whether we go back to the exact same ones we did before, it's not clear. And we might even change our minds as we're driving. We might say, oh, now we saw a good piece of conglomerate. We don't have to go back to one of these other ones. So it might even, our plan is likely to evolve as we go along.
Thank you.
Okay, and we're going to go now to NPR, and I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly, Ritu Chatterjee.
Yes. Hi, thanks for taking my question. This question is for Joy. You've described several of the things that you've found, but I'm curious to know, just for you, what's been the most exciting finding for you in the Glenelg region?
Well, I think the exciting thing was getting to drill, because I spent a lot of effort working with the engineers on testing that equipment and trying to get something that would work and providing a lot of different kind of samples and working through the problems and then having it actually work on Mars, get it into the Cameron and Sam and get those results that really met our science goals of the mission. So it's that whole activity was really the special thing for me.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we're going to go now to CBS News and Bill Harwood. Bill? You still with us, Bill?
Yeah, hey, sorry about that. Just a really two quick questions for Tim. Can you give me the odometer reading on MSL right now from the landing site? I'm just trying to put that 8-kilometer ellipse into perspective for folks. Thanks.
Can you go to your second question while we look that up quickly?
Bill, Jim needs just a moment to check on that.
Actually, yeah, that's my only question. Thanks.
Okay. All right. You know what? Why don't we, if you don't mind, Bill, give us a second. We'll get right back to you, and we'll go take a quick question now from Jonathan Amos. Is that all right with you? Bill? Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Stand by, Bill, just so we don't have dead air and keep everybody waiting. We'll jump to Jonathan, and Jonathan, if you have a quick question by the time you're done, then we'll have the answer to Bill's question. So go ahead, Jonathan.
I just wanted to be clear again. I mean, have you've started these three, the Dan, Traverse, the three things you want to do. You've started to move through these three phases, and sort of how long is that three-phase thing going to take?
Okay, Jonathan, Jim's going to answer your question, but he has the answer now to Bill's question.
Okay, we have approximately driven 733 meters to date. So.
Okay, so Bill, hopefully you heard that, and then.
I did. Thank you.
Okay, great, and then Jonathan.
Sorry, Jonathan. Can you repeat the question? I apologize.
Yeah.
It's just fun, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I just wanted to be clear. You've actually started the Dan Traverse now, have you, or started to move towards Shaler? Which order are you doing these three phases in? We've started the move towards Shaler. We've started the Dan Traverse. That's sort of where we're going to be going with that. And then when we get to Shaler is when we'll stop the Traverse and we will begin investigating Shaler itself.
Well, first Point Leg, and then Shaler. Yeah.
Okay, right. So you started the Dan Traverse. You're moving towards Point Leg. Then you'll do Shaler. Yeah.
That's right.
Right. Excellent.
Okay, and I'm going to do a last call. So if anybody does have a question, there's still time at just press *1, and we'll get you in the queue. And we will take a question right now. Back to Emily Lakdawalla of the Planetary Society.
Hi, this question is for Joe. I'm wondering if the 3 weeks at Cumberland is going to be a sort of typical sampling site time length. Are you likely going to have to do 2 drills at any one science site just to do that dilution cleaning, or can you just sort of give me a sense of what a typical science stop along the Mount Sharp Traverse will look like?
Okay, yeah, the 3 weeks, that will happen sometimes. Sometimes it will be a little longer. It still may extend into 4 weeks or 4.5. A lot has to do with the type of rock we encounter and On certain rocks, we want to take a little more time, put a little more of the ground personnel in the loop. Also depends on how much analysis the science wants to do at the site. So the 3 weeks will happen again. I think you're looking at really between 2.5 and 5 weeks, depending on what we find. As far as the dilution cleaning, that again is up to the science team as to when they look at the analysis from the first sample we collected at a site, as to whether they want to get a second sample if they see too much of the previous sample in it.
Okay, thank you.
And we're going to take a question now from Ken Kramer at Universe Today. Ken? Ken, are you able to hear us? You might.
Yes.
You might have forgotten to mute. Okay,
yeah,
so go ahead.
Can you talk about, did you try to film the sample drop-off at Cumberland at all? There were a lot of overexposed shots. It looked like. I wasn't sure what that was. Thanks.
This is Joe. Yes, we did try and do that, make that video effectively. You are correct. There was a issue with the settings in the second movie. We were taking the frame rates a little too fast, and so we're going to try and repeat that another opportunity that stays away from slowing any of the science down.
Okay, and finally, I'm just wondering about, we're talking about other imaging. Are you still considering imaging Comet Ison? Thank you.
Could you repeat the question, please? This is Joe again.
Sure. Were you still considering imaging of Comet Ison later this year? Thanks.
The comet, yeah. I don't think we've even started planning for that yet. But we could look up in the sky where it's supposed to be and try. I think, is that one going to be daytime, I believe, when it's visible? We've just haven't begun the planning for that, but that's kind of like the Phobos transit. It's something in the sky that we're used to doing the commanding to take images for that. So we probably will try to see if we can see it.
Okay, and I should mention to everybody that this telecon will be archived for 1 week. If you want to hear it again, you can call toll-free 866-467-2412, and the international line is 203-369-1448. It will also be archived with the visuals on Ustream at www.ustream.tv/NASAJPL. And we're going to wrap things up. More information about Mars Curiosity is online at www.nasa.gov/MSL and on Facebook at facebook.com/MarsCuriosity, and the Twitter handle is @MarsCuriosity. Thanks to our three speakers. We had some great questions, and just thanks everybody for joining us today.